Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the creation of my wand of transitioning or transition wand. I don't know. I haven't decided on the name fully. You guys let me know down below. I would greatly appreciate it. What we're going to do here is we are going to take misprints and failed prints and supports from different 3D files here, and we are going to make a wand here to go with the wizard theme. A lot of these will not be used in this project, like this dice tray here, but we have lots of others here, so we're just gonna empty it out here, and we're gonna be able to sort it through here a lot easier than on a massive desk. I got lots of different ones. If you guys think that 3D printing is just gonna, be easy peasy, be able to print and go, no problems. Unfortunately, there are gonna be problems. You're gonna have to level stuff, and sometimes filament works different ways than other filament. So you're gonna have to do experiments. So you are gonna have some misprints, but always make sure to keep them because you can use them for something else, as I'm going to show you in this video here. I do have an idea here. A few of these circles here that I use for mobs in D&D were still good. They just fell into there, so I'm just going to take them out here. We got a half giant, half Baby Yoda, a sledgehammer, got a few other things. So this is going to be the base here. Of course, it's going to be the handle. Why make something when we already have it? This is a twitch bit up here, as you can see in the top right-hand corner. That's what they're supposed to look like. The twitch bit failed, unfortunately. So I know I want it as the tip of it, but we're going to need to build up between there. So we're just going to use some different pieces here, see what fits together. I have a lot of different supports from different things because I printed off a lot of things before I started this project, so got them here. These pieces here will make good windows, so I'm just going to put those to the side. I don't want to lose those or break those. So we're just going through and we are picking up the different pieces. A lot of these are supports, honestly. There's very few failed prints. I haven't really had too many problems, really. So I know I want to use the Frost Giant torso. I'm using some of these other bits here to kind of support it up and hopefully make it look kind of like some candle wax and stuff like that. These big pieces here were from the mask that I use on stream. This piece here I wanted to use. It looked cool, but unfortunately, it just didn't fit properly. And if I cut it, I might have ruined it. And I didn't want to take that chance because it is a nice piece. And I do not remember which print this is from, so I couldn't kind of make another one. So unfortunately, we are going to have to scrap that idea, but it is still there for use in future projects. So looking through everything, we're going to start piecing everything together here. We're taking the twitch bit base and the twitch bit support here, putting it together to make a platform. We are using hot glue here. It melts the plastic a little bit and also fills in the gaps, so it is pretty good to putting together these bigger pieces, especially failed prints. Ticky tack here, or blue tack, are going to be used on pieces that we want to check out here. As I'm doing this, I'm remaking the twitch bit. I realized after that I reassembled it wrong, but that is fine. Hot glue fills in the gaps where the support, fill is, and then it gives it a good place to hold on to. Plus also, like I said before, melts it, so it gives it an extra strong grip. So all these internal pieces here, I want a flat piece. So I'm using these square pieces that I get from leveling off my printer. They're nice little pieces that I hang on to for occasions like this because they're nice and thin. I can easily put them on here, make a small platform that is nice and smooth here. And we're just going to use a plastic piece, which I lose in here, but I will find momentarily. It is a nice, just flat piece. That way it keeps it even, so I don't have bumps. And if it gets a little bit of hot glue on it, that's fine. We can just rub it off later, no problem. We're going to set that aside, let that cool off. And as we do that, we're going to build up more here. So the frost shine is going to be higher up. So we're just going to solidify these pieces in here. We don't need the ticky tack no more. We're going to fill those in. The infill you see is a lattice work. So that's why I'm using the hot glue there, is to fill that in. I'm using some of these other pieces to fill in the torso area. They look like candle wax. They are from, I think, the dice tray, honestly, or the dice tower, I should say. So I'm just going to trim them down, put them in there, make sure they work. Be very careful when you are working with hot glue because it is very hot. Even once it cools down for a minute or so, it can still burn you, especially with the one I'm using here. So in between pieces, I'm working on the twitch bit because that way I can get pieces done and keep it working and getting it solidified and everything like that. Some of these are stringy pieces, so I'm just going to cut those off. We don't need the string, that's fine. I'm using Zappa here. This is my favorite glue to use. It is amazing. This bottle is a little bit older, as you can from the discoloration and also the fact that it doesn't have a nozzle anymore. But Zappa I've used since I started modeling, and it is amazing. It works on pretty much all plastics. Now while that dries, we're just going to fill in the torso here, trim everything down, make sure everything fits in there, add a little bit more of those squares in there to make them nice and smooth. I'm happy with how this turns out. I'm gonna have to do some gap filling. That's fine. I wanted to use some of the failed rings here to add a little bit more flair to the giant, but unfortunately this didn't look right, so I'm not gonna do that. Now we're just gonna dry fit everything together here, make sure everything goes here. I'm gonna decide to use the Baby Yoda here. Don't worry, he survives his surgery with no complications. So he's gonna be the start of the wand after the handle. Now we just have to just get something that will fit up here. I want it to look kind of ornate, but not too clunky. Baby Yoda is for sure going there, so we're just going to put him on there. And until then, we are going to fit this middle piece, I'm going to call it, on here. We're going to use one of these bigger blue pieces. Wow, sorry, can't talk there. Bigger blue pieces here. Make sure it's flat. We're just going to trim off the extras here, no problem. Easy peasy. Make sure your hobby knife is always sharp. Never use a dull one because that is more dangerous. And now I do make a mistake here. We'll discuss that later on. But we're going to work on the Baby Yoda here. Another one of the spare piece here. Put it on there. And we're going to let that dry. And then and now we're just going to trim everything up here. I have left these for about a day or two to dry fully for all the glue and the hot glue, so they should be fully dried. Unfortunately, this piece here is not, like I said before, it is an older glue set there, so it didn't fully dry, or properly dry, I should say. It's not very tacky, which is slightly problematic for glue. So we are just going to try again. We're going to put more glue on there. Hopefully it binds this time. And then we're just going to set that down and let that dry. Then we're going to, like I said before, we made a mistake here. So I made a mistake, sorry. I made a mistake here, so I'm going to have to break this off. Unfortunately, this glue decides to stick properly. So it is a little bit of a hard time to get off. And I have to be careful with the edges because the edges on some of these things are pretty sharp. After a while, I do have to use the pliers here, break it off. But this is the good thing about using plastic is I just use the hot glue gun's nozzle to melt stuff back into place. Really easy to do, but be very, very careful. I'm just going to sand this block down. I'm using this as a riser, just as like an ornamental riser here. I need a flat base to put onto stuff, so we are just using this. I don't even remember where these accordions come from, but we got this here, putting down this blue piece, and using those like this, the test prints, the square test prints. Just trimming everything up here because this big blue piece was a failed one. The very thin stuff easily melts, so that's why it's good to use as a base. Gonna make sure that I got the hot glue here as a filler on there to help with the super glue. Fill in any cracks here because once I paint it, it does look pretty good. I've painted hot glue quite a few times when I need to be. We're going to just trim down Baby Yoda here, make sure everything is as close as possible to Baby Yoda, and we're going to work on this base again. Unfortunately, it does not work fully. It does snap off after a moment here. I'm scoring it here because the pliers aren't working. I make a mistake here. Never ever put hot glue straight onto super glue. This was a mistake, as you can see right here. Right there, you can see the fumes. I got a face full of superheated hot glue here. Super glue, sorry. I had to take a couple days off after this because I got a massive headache. So be very, very careful. Don't be an idiot like I was. But after a couple days, come back. We're going to now work on this more. Just going to score this, break it, and hopefully it works. If I do it right, I can just easily snap it, kind of like a Kit Kat. But these pliers that I'm using are hobby pliers, so they are designed to cut stuff like this. Since it didn't go all the way through, I'm just going to use the hobby knife. And finish the score here. Remember to always keep a sharp hobby knife. Dull ones are way more dangerous because you have to put more pressure on, and you could potentially slip and cut yourself. Not speaking from experience, do not look into that further. Now I'm just going to see which position and which angle works the best. If I'm going to have the blue side up, blue side down, work it around. This is why it's good to always dry fit stuff together and don't put glue on, especially with the glue that we're working with here. It dries pretty fast. So working it around here, decide where I want it, what works, and make a mistake here with the hot glue. I use the hot glue as a filler in where the where the candle wax is. Well, what I want to look like candle wax, because it goops down. It looks more like candle wax too. But I didn't let that dry fully. I'm just going to be working here, and then once I find a perfect spot that I want for it, I'm gonna flatten this down a little bit because of the mistake before. That's all fine and dandy. Gonna take the opportunity to clean up some of this other stuff here. I do want to make it look nice at least, but I'll work more on that later. It's a slow progress sometimes. Now we are going to use the glue. I did not get new glue in the meantime from that last mistake, so hopefully this stuff sticks. I don't remember if it fully did stick or if I had to use other stuff. But in the meantime, I have gotten a new glue since this stuff has been this project has been done here. So we let this dry for about, I think it was 2 or 3 days, maybe even a week. So everything is dry, everything should be good. Now we're going to clean up all this detail here. As you can see, the hot glue does leave a little bit of a mess if you don't use it properly. So I'm just taking my knife here and very carefully scraping everything off here. I will use a file set that I have to round some of the edges because some of them are very sharp. And what we're going to do is we're going to fix up this base here. Instead of trying to risk breaking this off, I'm just going to use the scoring of the knife and also a Dremel, which kind of works like a big file. Don't worry if you guys don't have a Dremel. A file works, just the Dremel works a lot faster sometimes. But I had to stop because the glue was gooping up the sand barrel, whatever the thing on the Dremel is called. After I get this done, I'm just going to fill it in with all the hot glue. And now we are on to green stuff here. Green stuff is a 2-part modeling compound here. It is made out of blue and yellow stuff. We're going to mix it together to make green. That is why it's called green stuff. I take out the middle because the middle is hard, and so you'll have hard pieces in your putty there, and that is not good, especially since I'm going to be using this to smooth out the twitch bit. So we're just going to work it until it is good here, and we're going to move it around. Make sure you use water to make sure it doesn't stick. So make sure your tools have water and your hands have water, but don't use too much or else it just doesn't work at all. Just using one piece at a time here, slowly doing it, letting it dry slightly, and then using up some more. Using the finger allows me to smooth it out a little bit. After I let it dry, then I put on some cards around the handle to add a little bit of decoration to it. I added a support at the Baby Yoda here, and then I also sanded down the green stuff a little bit. I use the cards as to represent some of the stuff that I plan on doing, and also what I've done that used cards. Cards are very cheap materials to use. You can just go to your local casino, that's what I do, get cards for free or very, very cheap, and then they are very easy to use. So now we are just going through, and I'm just going to be smoothing everything out because the misprints do have problems with corners and everything like that, and also where the supports are. That's usually why they misprint or they fail. So I have gotten new Gorilla Glue here, so we're just putting some foam down here to fill in the giant torso here, since I have forgotten to do that. The Gorilla Glue is very strong, but it takes a little bit longer to dry, unfortunately, compared to the Zap-A-Gap. But that's fine, at least it is sticking this time, and I don't have to worry about it. So we're just going to cut off the extra stuff and then smooth it down with the Dremel, round off the edges a little bit, make it look all nice and pretty. Making sure I got all the extra glue off here before we start to print. But that is where this video is going to end. I hope you guys enjoyed this, get a little look into what it takes to make different things. The next video will be the painting of the video, but I hope you guys will come back and watch that. I am very pleased on how it turned out. If you guys want to see how it does turn out, then make sure to subscribe because it will be posted up shortly here. And I will also be using it on my Twitch for certain things too. Not just for on here for transitioning between cuts, but also on Twitch, hopefully for some other things there. Remember to follow me across all social media. I'm Commander Rez across it all. Links in the description down below. I do have a Twitch where I stream every weekend. I also have a D&D game every Monday now. I have TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. I do have a Patreon if you guys want to help support, and for a couple dollars a month, help support an artist with the filming and stuff like that. I would greatly appreciate it all. I'm trying to grow all social media this year. But I will see you guys all later. Remember, stay safe, stay healthy, stay awesome, because you guys are all awesome. Bye-bye.